we be? It's your boy from the Mud Ali, where we talk it only how we can do it. And without further ado, let's get to it. So today I want to have a conversation, man, and this is tempered more towards the male species, but yet everybody can take something from it. So this is not a conversation where I'm excluding anybody, man. But I want to get into the suffering in silence, man. So I did a episode, man, where I was talking about everybody, you know what I'm saying, wearing masks. And one of the masks that we wear is, you know what I'm saying, to appease others, to make others feel good about themselves. And, you know what I'm saying, so we can cope with things. And sometimes we wear masks so people don't see exactly what's going on with us, you know what I'm saying. We want to hide that away from the public or our family and shit like that. And motherfuckers really be going through things. Some shit be brought on by personal mental issues. Some things are brought on by personal mental issues. Some things are brought on by life, and some things are forced upon us. You know what I'm saying? That life and personal issues force us to deal with, if you know what I mean. So, how do we cope? You know what I'm saying? It's not like we had a class. It's not like a lot of us communicate with each other. It's not like we grew up in homes. Not saying y'all did. I'm talking about the majority. Grew up in homes with open communication where you was able to speak about your feelings. That's why I'm speaking to the males in particular. Because when you go through certain things in life, who do you talk to? So as males, we go through things, and without knowing how to properly communicate, we just kind of internalize everything. And even when we don't internalize it, we act out inappropriately because we don't know how to deal with emotions. And like I said, that comes from our upbringing. That comes from society of life. One of the most difficult things to be in the world is a male, especially a black male. And I say a male not diminishing anything that women have to do or that they go through. It's just that as a male, I understand that women get a certain level of acceptance and a certain level of of giving respect, which is due when it's earned. You know what I'm saying? And men, it has to be earned automatically. It has to be earned from the jump. You know what I'm saying? It's not just given, even though it should be. You know what I'm saying? Given in some form, shape, or fashion. A lot of the times, that shit has to be earned. So then you go about on how to earn it, and everybody got different ways. Like I said, backgrounds, upbringings, and depending on, you know what I'm saying, your surrounding area that you lived in, that can determine a lot. So if you only see so much, then you only know so much. You know what I'm saying? You got to expand your surroundings. But if you only grew up in the hood, then you only know hood mentality. That's the type of shit that you're going to pick up on. And that's how you're going to move. And that's how a lot of us move. But then we don't know how to deal with our anger, our emotions, and all that shit. We act out, we lash out on each other, women, ourselves, family members, and shit like that. And you got a lot of us who pretend to be happy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm including myself, not saying I ain't happy. I'm just talking about men in general. And it's a facade, man. It's a mask that we wear. And this mask in particular is a mask that we hope nobody would ever uncover. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those, like I said, you suffer in silence because you go through certain things and you try to keep up this strong, you know what I'm saying, demeanor of like, I got everything under control, because that provides a level of comfortability in your woman, your family, and all of that. And you're supposed to feel like that as a man, you're supposed to know everything. You're not supposed to question nothing. You're not supposed to second guess yourself. You're supposed to be able to be accurate in your thoughts and just be able to move accordingly. But all the time it don't work that way. We get surprised too. Certain things happen. We not always prepared how we should be. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's right or wrong, just give you the realistic. And we cause ourselves to go through certain turmoil mentally, self-inflicted, because we really just don't have any other outlet. We don't know what to do. And that's why you see so much anger in the hoods and between the adolescents, because they don't have a way to express themselves. You know what I'm saying? They don't have a way to let out that aggression, to let out the anger. They don't really know what to do. They feel misplaced in life. You know what I'm saying? Which, unless you've been there, you don't know how that feels, to feel misplaced in life. Like, I'm here, but what the fuck am I here for? What the fuck am I supposed to be doing? You know what I'm saying? What's my purpose? And that's a lot of the shit that goes on nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers still be trying to figure out their purpose in life and be trying to figure out why they're here. And the process of them doing that, they go through certain trials and tribulations that keep you off that path and keep you off that road, that you never really get to reach your full potential. Because you got distracted with all these different barriers that's been set up. Some being by the outside, some being your own doing. So then what you do, you internalize everything. So while you mentally suffering, emotionally suffering, and then you wearing this mask to show everybody that, hey, I'm okay, I'm good. It ain't working out that way in your life. Things, first time you get some kind of difficulty, you like, oh, hell no, man, I can't deal with this, I can't deal with that, I can't do that. And I'm seeing a lot of crazy incidents in the world where people are doing things to self-inflict the pain on themselves or cause a harm to others, and it's just crazy. No matter the age, it don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They just doing whatever because they not mentally there. They're not mentally thinking. They mental acuity of being able to stand certain things is just not there, and that's a problem. You know what I'm saying? I feel like at a certain point in time, we stopped trying to evolve mentally, right? And we just gave up on certain things. That's part of the internet. That's part of just the lackadaisical way of life that made everybody complacent. Everything is just easy nowadays, so you don't have to work for it. But with that same way of thinking comes the same process of not having to push through the shit that you're going through. If everything is made easy for you and you always got easy shit, you never have to think about the mental fortitude and making shit happen for yourself or getting shit done. So when you go through certain things in life and you don't understand how to get through it, you know what I'm saying? You just go through that pain, that emotion, and then as time progresses, whatever happens with that situation, you just keep pushing it back, pushing it back, pushing it back. After a while, you look up and be like, man, what the fuck going on? You don't recognize yourself. You don't recognize some of the things you've been doing, some of the things you've been saying, or sometimes people create the facade of starting to feel better because they feel more comfortable being free in their words, just because they don't have any ambition anymore. So now it's like, all right, you ever seen somebody just saying some wild ass crazy shit? I just started doing wild shit. You like, damn, bro, you trying to crash out. That person right there doesn't have any ambition on things to seek in life anymore. So they just pretty much gave up. They're like, fuck it. It is what it is. And that's part of suffering in silence, because they not telling you what's going on. They're not telling you what they want, what they've been through, what they want to accomplish, and how they, you know what I'm saying, certain things, and change and alter their mentality for them to be like, fuck it, they want to give up on life. You just seeing the end result. They like, man, I don't give a fuck about nothing. And that's where the problem becomes in society nowadays is we stop caring about shit. We stop having sympathy and empathy, and we stop being worried about certain things, and we only be, you know what I'm saying, focused on self. And focused on self is not a bad thing, because, you know what I'm saying, self-worth, self-knowledge, self-understanding is important, but it's selfishness that we focus on. It's like, nah, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So when that process of us being selfish, it also forms a distance and bonds that we create. And that's another part of the process of suffering in silence, where you're not able to communicate. You don't have these relationships. You don't have, you know what I'm saying, this shit built up with people, the rapport built up with people where you can communicate and let them know what's going on. So you feel afraid to communicate because you're afraid you might be judged. So that's another thing that made me change my mind on therapy. I used to be against therapy, not really against it, because let me take that back. Therapy is important, and therapy is a broad perspective. But the psychiatry and shit of it, like sitting down and being able to, you know what I'm saying, and talk to, like, hold on, well, I need to talk to you for you to tell me what's going on with my problems, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know my psyche, I'm good, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm not good, I gotta tell you about me for you to tell me what you think that I should be doing or where I went wrong. Instead of me just applying my thoughts and knowing who I am and figuring it out on my own. So that's me, I ain't gotta pay you for that. But then I learned like, hey man, sometimes you need to go and reach out to somebody who don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Who you don't feel is gonna judge. Because even if you don't, even if that person don't judge you, if you still feel judged, it's gonna determine how much you let out. It's gonna determine how you feel about going through the process and all that. So you need to kind of go through that. So I'm not really as against it as I was before. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand people go through certain things in life and they need to seek the right help. It's not just any help. Like, yeah, you can go talk to somebody, but if they're not gonna sit there and listen fully, or if they're not gonna do this, and when you paying somebody, that's their only choice is to listen. So I get that part. And we need an outlet. Everybody needs an outlet, someone to talk to. You gotta be able to communicate with somebody. If you hold it all in, you're gonna torment yourself. You never gonna get to where you're supposed to get, and it's just gonna be a problem. So you gotta be able to mentally release all these thoughts that you have in some way, shape, form, or fashion, so that way you can take in new positive thoughts. So if you got negative thoughts, you got to release those, take in new positive thoughts. That way you manifest your true destiny. So there's no way that you can hold it all in, right? And that's what suffering in silence is. It's hold it all in, being to yourself. And then next you know what I'm saying, your family find out this or trying to figure out why this happened, all kind of shit. And that's what we try to prevent. It's a conversation that we got to talk about. We got to be open because sometimes you don't even know how to approach it. Like, how do you approach coming to a family member or a friend and say, hey, man, you know, I'm suffering from survivor's remorse, or, you know, I'm going through this, or, you know what I'm saying? You know, you might have your homeboy, right? And you want your homeboy to respect you for a man and all this shit, but you might be struggling to pay your bills and struggling to do this, and you feel like, damn, I can't go to my homeboy and tell him I can't take care of my wife and my kids and shit. How do I do this? Because you don't know how to communicate. But as family, as brothers, as sisters, as mothers, as fathers, as uncles, as, you know what I'm saying, aunties, grandmothers, friends, whoever you want to, you know what I'm saying, put in there. We're supposed to be able to communicate, help each other. Oh, man, look, I can help you this. Oh, man, look, you go here and point each other in the right direction. Because we're afraid of being judged, we refuse to communicate. So then, again, we suffer. We keep on suffering. And we try to, you know what I'm saying, figure out a way. And sometimes people getting to the point where they're like, man, look, I realize I can't figure out a way. Or I'm not even, you know what I'm saying, I'm getting to that point of depression where I'm not even trying to think about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, fuck it, woe is me. And they wallow in their self-pity. And how do you help somebody get out of self-pity? Let me ask you that. Anybody can tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you get out of self-pity, man? I hope to come back and look at this in the comments if somebody got some kind of suggestions. Because, like, how can I tell you, hey, man, stop wallowing in the shit that you feel about yourself when you created this mindset over a long period of time? This is part of the reason why I said I was against therapy. I'm going to explain the part earlier, but this is why I was against, you know what I'm saying, sitting down and having these conversations. Like, this is something I need to go over and get over myself. Not talking about me in particular, but anybody or myself, if I would do it, or anybody else. But then as you start to self-analyze, you be like, one, you don't have all the answers. And two, it's good to be able to have someone tell you and show you or explain to you the opposite end of the spectrum. Or just to show you that life is about perspective. And sometimes we internalize everything and we don't really pay attention that life is about perspective and vantage points and how you view things. So you may see it one way while you're in a situation, but if you remove yourself from the situation, you might look at it this way. If you remove yourself completely from that and looking at it from an outside view, you might look at it this way. So we got to find a new approach and a different way of looking at things, and that's how we manifest, and that's how we work and make our dreams happen. But that starts with communication. Communicating on what's going on with you. It sounds like a hard thing to do, but it's so simple, because when we get angry, a lot of us are quick to communicate and tell, you know what I'm saying, somebody what's going on. When we got problems at work, I'm quick to vent over here, but why can't you vent your frustrations about what you're really going through? We so quick to do the facetious shit, the shit that's just on top of that, really getting deep inside and getting to the, you know what I'm saying, the nitty gritty of like, hey man, what you really going through? Like, what's on your mind? How you feeling? Especially this year in particular, I really trying to be getting to my people's head and their minds, man, of what they've been going through, how they thinking, because I've had so many people in my life, man. One thing that I've had is a lot of people like, hey, man, we need to talk, we need to link, and then next you know something happened, and then, you know what I'm saying, this, you know, it's just, it's one of those, it's like, damn, I never talked to him again and shit, we never had that, you know what I'm saying, and I'm so busy worried about that, so I'm trying to get myself out of that mindset of like, man, look, I'm never too busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta prioritize life. Like, I got a lot of things going on right now, and I'm still learning as I go along about time, how much time we got in a day, and how to utilize my time, right? So sometimes I try to think outside the box, and they tell us we got 24 hours in a day, and I say, says who? You know what I'm saying? Like, your day ends this day, your ends that day, but my day may go for a longer period of time. My day may go 26 hours. You know what I'm saying? I may only have 6 days in my week. I don't have 7 because I'm going that hard. But that's how it is because back in the day, everybody wasn't on the same schedule. Everybody didn't have the same calendar. Everybody didn't have the same time. They was just moving, doing how they supposed to. So that's how I try to approach it. Like, man, I can't be on your schedule. I can't be worried about your timing. I got to be on my time. I can't keep you worried about what you saying I'm supposed to do because that's what they said. I got to do what I need to do on my time. So when we get to where we got to be. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, oh, damn, how we going to get there? And now we got to look at somebody else's map. No, we got to write the blueprint for ourselves. That's how we're going to figure it out. If we're worried about somebody else telling us, we're going to keep being stagnant, being in the same position because we're going to be waiting. And when they coming back, it's like when they say Papa went to the store to go get some milk. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it's going to be, man. So we got to get better. So we got to get that mental fortitude to persevere through everything we're going through, right? We can't just sit there and be stagnant, be complacent, be depressed, and be worried about what's going on instead of trying to figure out how to make it better and what's going to happen in the future. We got to stop sitting back and being afraid to communicate, you know what I'm saying, with our brethren, with our, you know what I'm saying, our sisters, our mothers, and be able to say, man, this is what I'm going through, this is how I feel it. Because if we can't communicate, then why are you with them? If I can't talk to you, then what we doing? We don't need to be friends. We don't need to be cohorts. We don't need to be whatever you want to put in our insert. We don't need to be nothing. We don't need to be brothers, cousins, nothing. We don't need to be nothing. Insert. If we can't communicate and just be able to say, hey, man, all right, cool. Because communication is all about respect and love. You know what I'm saying? That's the first 2 levels of communication with anybody is respect and love and understanding. Get a 3. You know what I'm saying? Because the whole point of communication is understanding. So with those 3, even if you got 1, oh, okay, I'm just looking to understand. Oh, okay, I'm doing this out of love. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. Out of those 3, we going to be able to figure it out. Like, that's all it's about. So once we figure that and we able to make that shit happen, then everything else is going to come easy. But we got to have that mindset to say, I'm going to get over whatever I'm going through no matter what, right? And then when I go through and I have my struggles, let me be able to communicate and say, hey, man, I'm going through this, man. You know what I'm saying? Can you help me not be afraid to be judged? And we also got to stop judging. That's one thing we quick to do. Oh, man, you see such and such. Oh, such and such. Oh, such and such. Like, stop that shit, man, because your shit ain't as rosy as you think. You know what I'm saying? Like, you fronting, man. We got to cut that shit out. It's all about unity. I probably say this shit in every video, but that's how you know that I'm really on this shit, man. We got to come together, let's get this movement going, man, and then just roll with each other. We got to uplift each other, man. I know it's a lot of people out there that's just suffering, you know what I'm saying? I try to make sure I trigger nobody with nothing. I try to make sure I watch my parts my words correctly, don't say the wrong things, because, you know what I'm saying, if I do, I try to make sure, all right, man, trigger one, I'm finna mention this. But like I said, it's other ways to go about things and word things that what you ain't gotta fully trigger somebody. And excuse me if I do, excuse my words if I do, if I just so happen to. Like I said, I'm trying to think about it and take others into account. But in life, you know what I'm saying, life is difficult. Life ain't easy, you know what I'm saying? It is what you make it. You gotta take what you get, you know what I'm saying, and make the best of it. In all actuality, you know what I'm saying? Take what you get and make the best of it. Like, shit. So if life give you that, You take that and turn it into that, and now you run a conglomerate or something else. Life give you lemons, what they say, life give you lemons. You make lemonade, now you got a lemonade company. You get that shit manufactured, now you got a brand, now you taking over, now you doing something, now you creating generational wealth. From one seed grows a plant. That's how the shit work, man. Same way with bad ideas. When you start thinking these bad ideas and these bad thoughts, that shit grow and progress into other bad thoughts. That negativity is what seeps in. And negativity is easy to seep in. It is positive because you got to work towards that. You can always think negative. You got to work towards positivity because your feelings persuade and change by the day and by the time. So we got to get better on that, man. We got to stop suffering in silence, man. Communicate. You going through something, talk to your people, talk to your family. As a culture, we got to get better. As a people, we got to get better. We got to start talking and communicating with each other and letting us know, hey, man, I feel like this. I feel like that. I'm going through this. I'm hurt by this. I was hurt by that. Can you help me with this? It's okay to ask for help. Don't keep everything to yourself. You ain't got to be quiet all the time, man. I don't want to have to go and hear about this. Somebody did this to themselves, or somebody was here, they put themselves in this situation, or somebody did this and they did this to somebody else, and now you're not gonna see this person all because they had a mental lapse from judgment, or because they was going through some shit and they didn't know how to get through it on their own, and they had nobody to communicate with, so they just end up doing some shit, and now it's like, fuck, I made a mistake, but what do I do to get out? You know what I'm saying? It's too late at that point. I want to stop people from getting to that point. I want to stop people from feeling like they by themselves. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to open dialogue and conversation amongst our community, amongst each other, to be like, damn, how can I help you? What can I do better? You know, this year right here, man, my beginning of this year, I went into some fucking crazy shit that I'm not going to speak of, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it affected me directly and indirectly in multiple different ways. So the only thing I've been trying to do is look at life different. I already looked at life in the grand scheme of things, but now I'm like, nah, man, there's so much to it. There's so much this. I can't worry about this. I got to focus on this, plan on this, plan on that. So it's like right now I'm all about getting all my ducks in a row. So if all my ducks in a row when I move, I can't worry about nothing else. You know what I'm saying? Getting all the steps and everything lined up. If you're on the ladder and you lose a couple of rungs, it's cool because as long as you got the other ones in place and putting you straight, I might have a backup ladder on my, you know what I'm saying, or whatever to help me get to, you know what I'm saying. I got a grapple to shoot. You know what I'm saying? I got a parachute if I do fall. I'm trying to make sure I'm playing. I got whatever. So I got all the utensils, all the equipment, all the necessities that I need to make sure I get to the top. No struggles. And if I do go through struggles, I'm able to accept my struggles, move through those struggles, and still, you know what I'm saying, overcome those struggles and succeed. So that's been my goal because of, like I said, how my year started. And I've been helping out a lot of people, family members, friends, I don't really do friends, everybody, family, strangers, you know what I'm saying, just trying to do whatever when I can, just be like, man, I love you, but I understand. You know what I'm saying? Hearing what you're saying, even without you communicating with me, I heard, sir. So let me see if I can do this. Let me see if I can do this. Sometimes I test people, work with people to see if, you know what I'm saying, we can be able to create a partnership, create a work or something, whatever. Just to understand, like, all right, as we moving, you understand what I'm doing. I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart to help, out of love, because I want to progress and grow. You know what I'm saying? I want to see you progress and grow. So that's how this shit work. But I don't want you to think you're going to take advantage. I don't want you to, you know what I'm saying, abuse or misuse. So that's the part of the testing. But again, we just really got to, like, be able to communicate with each other, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of us had grandmothers and, you know what I'm saying, big mamas and whatever y'all called them, and some of us didn't, but they was the ones who was nurturing, was caring, and we got to get back to that. Some of them passed away young, and sometimes we went through certain things in the families, and a lot of stuff changed and prevented us from growing and staying together, but we got to get back to that, because when families stayed together, community stayed together, we had block parties, we was doing all kind of shit. I remember block parties where the neighborhood come out, we turned up. It's the whole neighborhood is safe. You're not even thinking about somebody getting shot. That's how it's supposed to be. You're not even thinking about nothing happening. You just going to have a good time, and the only thing you worried about is what time you going to go home. You don't want to stay out too late because you might have to work in the morning, or you got other previous obligations, shit like that. The new world, you got to think about danger everywhere, and it's this, and everybody's conniving, and everybody doing this, so I understand why it's like, damn, I don't want to tell nobody shit because I don't want to be stabbed in my back. I don't want nobody to use the shit that I'm telling them against me, you know what I'm saying, to put me in a more precarious situation, to drive me into further depression and shit. So I get it. Understand it in some form, shape, or fashion, but again, in all shape, forms, and fashion, you know what I'm saying, we got to get that shit together. No matter what, man, we got to stand together. Call the troops, whoever you want to call. We got to start making this shit happen, man. We got to make movements. We got to do our shit. We got to start understanding and appreciating each other, because that's the goals in life, and that's how shit happen. If we're not going to do that, then what the fuck we doing, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, if we're not going to do that, then what the fuck we doing? We just motherfucking rubbing shoulders, brushing up against each other, and expecting conflict. You know what I'm saying? Because we ain't trying to help each other. We got to start helping each other, making shit happen, doing what we supposed to do, man, and communicate. Most importantly, first and foremost, is communicate. As a people, I'm not even going to say the culture, I'm talking about people in general. We got to learn to communicate, listen, and understand, and not just be triggered by words and then respond and think, oh, because you said that, I need to respond. It's okay to respond later. Say that rebuttal. The other side needs to listen to you as well. Nowadays, a person can talk, say all this shit, and the other side like, all right, cool, I listen to you talk. Now it's my time. That person like, man, I ain't got, they triggered. They don't want to, you know what I'm saying? So now you putting yourself on guard, and you don't want to communicate as much no more. You don't want to talk to people no more because of this situation. Every time I try to talk, people cut me off, and that shit like that is how it happened, man. It's a bunch of different variables that go to it, man, but we got to stop that shit, man. Like, that, we really got to stop this shit. We got to get better. You know what I'm saying? We really got to start supporting each other, being there for each other, understanding each other. Stop judging each other for shit that you don't understand because you ain't went through it or because you see life a certain way. Everybody's experiences is different. We got to get comfortable with communicating, man. I advise everybody, if you're going through something right now, if anything's on your mind, if you got a loved one you haven't spoke with that it have been on your mind to speak with them, time is short. Time is of the essence, man. You got to get it going. You got to move. Talk to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, tell them what's going on. Tell them how you feel. And just at least if you don't be afraid to put yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? At least you know you made some kind of efforts to do something, and the ball is in their court, and you wait on that response. It don't mean you pump, it don't mean you nothing, it don't mean you bow down, but life is too short to be angered by small shit. Life is too short to be holding in all this fucking pain and aggression and not expressing yourself, because pain is good. It makes you feel the joys of life. Now you understand those. So if you can understand the joys of life through pain, then you know you gotta endure certain pains, and that shit'll make you stronger. So that's okay. It's all about communicating. It's all about knowing that you're not alone. You're not by yourself. You got to make sure you surround yourself with the right people. It's good to know you got people in your corner, man. Don't suffer in silence. You know what I'm saying? Speak to your loved ones, man. Let them know you love them every day. Do what you can to help your loved ones, man, because you never know who need help. That's all I'm saying. It's your boy, Mo Money, a.k.a. FromDamudd Ali. You know who it is, you know who we be.
Never question greatness. Never question greatness. Tell them never question greatness.